It's a great pleasure to see so many people in attendance today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. I have a very special webinar for you today about English phrasal verbs. Today we are going to focus on 21 really universal phrasal verbs that you can use in business contexts. Now, in the next 40 minutes, as Anya mentioned before, I'm going to hold a couple of quizzes for you, so please feel free to answer them in the question box to your right. And without further ado, let's begin. Those of you who are fans of cinema have probably seen Gran Torino, a great film with Clint Eastwood starring as Walt Kowalski, a patriotic American gentleman who teaches this young Korean boy how to fix things. At a certain moment in the film, he says something like that to him. Take these 3 items, some WD-40, a vice grip, and a roll of duct tape. Any man worth his salt can fix almost any problem with this stuff alone. Ladies and gentlemen, phrasal verbs are just like tools. Some of them are very specific, some of them are very universal. Today, we're going to cover some of the most universal phrasals you can use in most contexts, outside of business as well. But how do phrasal verbs work? A phrasal verb is nothing more than a combination of a verb and a preposition. Together, they form a new meaning. Let me give you an example. The verb act on its own means to take action or to do something. You probably use it every day. But if you add a preposition to it, for example, act and on, so we have act on, means, and this means work according to somebody's advice. For example, this time I acted on my intuition. The same with act up. We have a totally new meaning, which is not work correctly. The washing machine is acting up again. That means there is something wrong with the washing machine. Now, the first phrasal out of the 21 from today's webinar is back up. To back up something is to make a copy of information on a computer, for example, files and programs, so that you do not lose it. For example, remember to back up your files. Or, my computer is acting up again. I have to back up my presentation. Believe me, I did it many times today. But this also works for people. So what you see here is a Soyuz crew with their backups. So with a personnel that is going to fill in for the original crew in case when something goes wrong. If there's one thing you remember from today's webinar is this small piece of advice. When using phrasals, use your intuition more than your memory. I have a short quiz for you, ladies and gentlemen. The phrasal to cash in on something means A, to withdraw money from the bank, B, to benefit from an event or situation, C, to borrow money to buy something, D, to steal money from somebody. Now, please use the question box to your right, and this will tell us if everything's if the webinar platform is working all right. So please type your answers in the question box to your right. Okay, I can see the first answers are through. Most of you have answered correctly. B, ladies and gentlemen, to cash in on something means to benefit from an event or situation. Now, let's have a closer look at this phrasal. As we said before, to cash in on something means to benefit or make money from an event or situation often in an unfair way. For example, some Londoners cashed in on the royal wedding by renting out their homes. Or a BBC News headline, Israelis cash in on kosher wine trade. But if you cash in too much, sometimes you need to be bailed out. To bail out somebody or something is to help a person or business in difficulty. I'm sure you've seen this phrasal before. Let's have a look at some example sentences. The government used taxpayers' money to bail out the banks. Too many companies wanted to cash in on the American real estate market. Now we have to bail them out with our money. But bailout also has a second meaning. To bail out of something means to escape from a difficult situation, often leaving other people in a difficult situation by doing so. Let me give you an example. The printing firm have bailed out of their contract with us. Well, that means we're on our own now, and we're probably in trouble. Marco said he would help us set up the new business, but he has bailed out. Well, that means Marco is no longer with us, and we're in deep, deep trouble. But as I told you, today's phrasals are very universal. So bailout also has a third meaning. And as you can see in this picture, sometimes it's good to know when to bail out. Now, this pilot is definitely bailing out from the plane. But also, there was a 1989 film with David Hasselhoff about a bank robbery, as far as I remember, called Bailout. Now, the question is, how much would you pay for a DVD or a VHS of that film? Would you pay $25? I don't think so. That would be a rip-off. Ladies and gentlemen, another phrasal for you. To rip off somebody is to make them pay too much money for something. $25 for a film from 1989, well, that's a rip-off. But rip-off also has a second meaning. This is the Superman. Superman always rips off his shirt before saving the earth. Oh, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I can see some answers are coming through. Somebody will give $5 for a film with David Hasselhoff. I'll check my movie library at home, and if I do have a copy, I will send it to you for $5. I promise, whoever that was. Thank you very much. Moving on. Very useful everyday phrasal verb, write off. If you write off a sum of money, you accept you have lost it, or that it will not be repaid. Well, remember Superman ripping off his shirts. Now, we've calculated that Superman has written off 27 shirts so far. That means they are not coming back. But on a more serious note, you can say that, for example, we have written off your credit card debt. That means now you don't have any debt left. But what happens if you crash your car? After the crash, I had to write off mine. So if you write off a piece of equipment or a thing, that means it's gone and you're not getting it back. But don't worry, things will pick up. I'm sure you've heard this phrase before. If something picks up, it increases or improves after a slow start or a bad period. For example, their new business had a slow start, but it picked up after a few weeks. I hope business will pick up again soon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just to quickly check if you're not asleep out there, I have a short quiz for you. Please find one phrasal verb that matches all three gaps in these sentences. Okay? Have a quick look at this slide and please find one phrasal verb that matches all three gaps in the sentences below. I'm waiting for your answers now. Okay, I can see we're getting many answers now. Okay, the correct answer is bail out. In 2007, the US government had to bail out many banks. Seconds before the crash, the pilot managed to bail out from the plane. He promised to help his friends, but as usual, he bailed out. Now, remember, quick revision of the phrasals we've done so far. Back up, make a copy of information. Cash in on, benefit from an event or situation. Bail out, help a person or business, or escape from a difficult situation. Rip off, pay too much money. Write off, accept that you have lost something. Pick up, increase or improve. Okay, let's move to another section now. The next 10 verbs are going to be a bit more office oriented. Okay, the first one is to call back. If you call back somebody, you telephone someone you rang earlier, or you telephone someone for a second time. Very often you can hear in the business world, I'm very busy now. Can I call you back in 10 minutes? Or, hi, it's me, I'm calling back. But to call back also has a second meaning. It means to return to a place to see somebody again. As in this example sentence, I'm sorry, Mr. Black is in a meeting now. Can you call back later this afternoon? So here it's just a synonym of come back later this afternoon. Okay, moving on. Book up. If you're really, really busy, that means you're booked up. That means you have no spare time or space in your agenda or in your diary. So the Hilton Hotel is booked up. We'll have to stay somewhere else. Mr. Kowalski is booked up for February, but I can make you an appointment for March. To fill in. To fill in for somebody is to do their work because they are away or sometimes sick. Can you fill in for me while I'm on holiday? Janet is ill. I need someone to fill in for her. Here, fill in is just a synonym of replace. This is my favorite. This is my #1 phrasal verb. To be snowed under. If you're snowed under, that means you have too much work to do. We're snowed under at work because 2 members of staff are on holiday and we have nobody to fill in for them. Write up. When you write up something, you write it on paper or type it into a computer, usually from your notes or a draft. Let's have a look at the examples. Don't forget to send me your report when you've written it up. Have you written up the notes from today's meeting? Okay. Key in. Now this one is also very office oriented. To key in is to use a keyboard to type information into a computer or into an electronic system. Oh, I can see you're writing up the report, the reports. Can you key in this data for me, please? Now, somebody just asked another person at the office a nice quick favor. Copy in. If you copy somebody in, that means you send someone a copy of an email you are sending to someone else. This is what we do every day with our emails. Can you copy me in your staff emails, please? Would you like me to copy you in on all my official correspondence? Draw up. To draw something up is to prepare a document or plan. We must draw up a financial plan for the business for 2013. Draw up the plan on paper, write it up on your computer, key in the financial data and send it to your manager. Oh, and don't forget to copy me in. I hope that by now you understand the sentence in 100%. There are 4 phrasals we've discussed before are in it. So we have draw up, write it up, key in, and copy me in. But if we continue with that many phrasals, we will definitely burn out. So we need to slow down for a moment. To burn out is to become extremely tired or ill because of too much work or stress. For example, you'll burn out if you keep working such long hours without a holiday. Or he burned himself out because he was studying too hard. Okay, that's enough of me talking for now. Let's have a short quiz. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 different phrasal verbs that you need to match to these sentences. Now, please use the question box to the right to fill in the sentences on screen. Okay, the first answers are through. I'll just give you 1 more minute to finish. Okay, I think most of the answers are in now. Okay, let me give you the correct answers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really busy now. Can I call you back? Sentence number 2. If you keep working too hard, you will burn out. And finally, sentence number 3. Many seaside towns in Poland cash in on tourists from Germany. Thank you very much for your answers. In the meantime, I got a question. Let me read that to you. Does call back mean the same as come back? And the answer is yes. In some contexts it does. Call back, if you're asking about come back and call back, in the context of a physical activity, they are synonyms. Thank you very much for your question. Okay. Let's move on to the final section of today's presentation. But before we do so, a quick revision of the phrasals we have done so far. We've covered call back, which means telephone someone who rang you earlier. Booked up, having no spare time or space. By the way, this phrasal verb is only used in its passive form. So just the way you see it, booked up. So the hotel can be booked up. But it's really hard to book somebody up. You wouldn't use that in an everyday context like that. To fill in, that means to do somebody's work for them when they are ill or away on holiday. To be snowed under, to have too much work. Write up, meaning write something on paper or type it or typing it into a computer. Key in, type information into a computer. Copy in, send someone a copy of an email. And draw up, prepare a document or plan. Okay? Oh, sorry, there was one more, burn out. I forgot that one. To become extremely tired. Okay? I think we can move on to the final section of our presentation. These phrasals are a bit more focus on the everyday activities. So knuckle down and focus on the phrasal verbs. But what knuckle down means? To knuckle down is to start work or study very hard. For example, I'm not very impressed with your work. Knuckle down or you will have to leave the company. We all knuckled down and finished the work before the deadline. Okay, I hope you all understand what this means here. Hold on. I am just getting a question from the audience. Coming back to booked up, this the phrasal that meant completely full. Is it the same as overbooked? Well, that's a good question. I would say yes and no, because in both situations it would be impossible for you to book a room, for example. Overbooked, I think, means a bit more. That means there is actually a time management problem and we have too many meetings arranged or too many guests invited to the hotel or an event. Thank you very much for asking this question. Okay, let's carry on. Let's knuckle down and carry on. Okay, step up. Now, step up. To step up something is to do more of an activity, work harder at it, or increase the level of strength of something in order to improve a situation. Now, this is a very long definition, but let me give you an example sentence that I hope will make this meaning clear. We're all going to sell out of Christmas puddings long before Christmas if we don't knuckle down and step up the production. Now, step up means to, well, as I said, increase, work harder, or give that extra effort in order to achieve something. There was also a film called Step Up, wasn't there? All right. Okay. Another phrasal for you today, to drum up. To drum up something is to try and increase interest in something or support for something. Like in this picture to your right, need to drum up more business. In here, this is a synonym of attract, need to attract more business. Our marketing team is drumming up interest in our new product. We drummed up lots of new customers with our special offers. Moving on, what if something fails? You can say, if a plan or an agreement or a deal falls through, it fails. It does not happen. For example, plans to build a new superstore in the town have fallen through. Well, this means we won't probably have the new superstore around in town. The plan to drum up new customers with a 50% discount has fallen through. That means, well, we were not able to execute this plan, or it just didn't work very well for us. Okay? Hire out. If you hire out something, you allow someone to pay you money so that they can use it for a short time. Think of it as a short-term leasing. We hire out virtual assistants for small and medium businesses. Well, this is what we do. They hire out gardening machinery on a daily rate. But think back just a few months. You probably saw many Irish camper vans in our streets. Many Irish hired out camper vans to come to Poland to Euro 2012. Okay? Can we move on? Measure up. To measure up is to be good enough, to have the necessary abilities, skills, or qualities. For example, our office manager has lost her job because her work didn't measure up. I'm starting a new job at a law firm today I hope I measure up to their expectations. Now, this last collocation, to measure up to somebody's expectations, is very popular in business recently, so this is really worth remembering. Okay, the final quiz for today, ladies and gentlemen. Which phrasal verb means 1. To try and increase interest in product or service. 2. To work harder. 3. To borrow for a short time. Please type your answers in the question box to your right. Okay, I can see the first answers are through. One more minute to wrap this up. In the meantime, I did get some answers and questions in the background. I will answer them in a moment. Okay, okay. Let's check the answers now. To try and increase interest in product or service. To drum up. Thank you very much for all of your correct answers. To work harder, that means to step up or to knuckle down. And to borrow for a short time, that means to hire out. We did get a couple of higher up. No, higher up, this is, I'm afraid this is not the correct answers. So to sum up, drum up, step up, knuckle down, and hire out. Okay, in response to your one question, Mr. Piotr and Adam, the gentleman said that a plane may be overbooked. Well, fair point. That's a good point. Thank you very much, Piotr and Adam. And okay, I think we can move on. The final revision for today. As you remember, knuckle down, start to work or study very hard. Step up, work harder. Drum up, increase interest in something. Fall through, do not happen when you're talking about plans. Hire out, allow someone to use something in exchange for money. And measure up, to be good enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention today. You will get all the materials from me, including the list of phrasals, a couple of exercises. As far as I know, they should be arriving in your inboxes on Monday, but I will have to confirm that with Anya. As of now, thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, please type them in the questions box and I will be answering them in just a minute.
Dziękujemy bardzo Państwu za tak aktywny i liczny udział. Bardzo dziękuję Bartkowi za poprowadzenie tego webinarium. W tej chwili jest czas na zadawanie pytań. Tak, więc bardzo proszę wpisywać te pytania w rubrykę questions. Bartek za chwilę odpowie, a ja w międzyczasie chciałabym Państwa poprosić o to, byście po zakończeniu ankiety, przepraszam, po zakończeniu webinarium wypełnili ankietę. Ona na pewno pomoże nam lepiej przygotować się do kolejnych spotkań. A także zapraszam na nasze kolejne webinarium. Kolejne webinarium zaplanowane jest 18 października. Poprowadzi je także Bartek, a tematem webinarium będzie specyficzne słownictwo międzynarodowych korporacji. Także myślę, że będzie coś ciekawego dla Państwa. Teraz już oddaję głos Bartkowi, który odpowie na Państwa pytania.
Okay,
Bartku.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Adam asked the following question: does measure up mean the same as live up to something? In some contexts, yes. For example, to live up to somebody's expectations. We did have that as an example sentence. So the answer is yes. One more question we have. This was about the Euro 2012. Do we say to or do we say for Euro 2012? And the answer is both versions are okay. Another question. In order to learn phrasal verbs, do we have to keep repeating them and revising them and remembering them over and over and again? That's from Mariusz. Well, that's one of the strategies. I always tell my students to use their intuition, because if you have a good look into the phrasal verbs, you will learn that they actually have a very logical structure. Okay, one more question I'm getting. Measure up, is it the same as live up to? Oh, I just answered that question 10 seconds ago. So I think that's done. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no further questions, I would like to thank you all for attending. Have a great day, and I really hope to see you next month on my webinar about the corporate language.
Jeszcze pytania nadchodzą, także może jeszcze sekundkę przespojrzeć. Jeszcze.
Yes. Hire a car or hire out a car. This is synonymous. This is the same here.
Jeszcze sekundkę.
No worries, I'm here. Oh, do we have the same phrasal verbs in British English and are they the same in American English? Some of them are, but many phrasals are indigenous to specific languages. I've noticed one thing: many phrasals are shared between British English and Australian English. American English has many specific phrasals, so I'm afraid you'll have to learn them separately, according to depending on which language you're actually studying. Are there any books about phrasal verbs?
Eva.
I can tell you that your best option is the internet, actually, now. There are many great online dictionaries. You can go to the dictionary.com, which is a very good online dictionary. Okay, do we have any further questions?
Jeszcze jest jedno pytanie, czy można powiedzieć, że hire wynająć na długo, hire out na krótko, od pana Mariusza. Halo, halo? Jeszcze pytanie, czy hire...
I don't think I'm getting any further questions.
I jeszcze, Bartku, czy hire to wynająć na długo, a hire out na krótko? Pytanie od pana Mariusza.
Nie spotkałem się z takim podziałem wcześniej. To jest synonim.
Dobrze, w takim razie bardzo dziękujemy, Bartku, za poprowadzenie i za te wszystkie odpowiedzi na pytania. Wszystkim Państwu dziękujemy. Tutaj ktoś jeszcze pytał, nie dosłyszał, kiedy jest następne webinarium. Następne webinarium 18 października.